Well, hello, good afternoon, good evening, because I'm recording in the afternoon today. But good morning to those outside on the other side of the timelines. Welcome to Ionisms, a simple, slow burn, straight talk about movies, pets, cricket, and geopolitics. And off late, those are the only things that are happening. Of course, we dive deep into other issues as well. But for the first timers, Ionisms is a non-rhetorical, there will be no jingoism, no loud claims. And I think there is a large audience out there which wants plain, simple, almost borderlining boring content. I know it's probably counterintuitive to say that, but hey, that's what I want to share as the channel, that there's too much noise. Can we just simplify and just have a peaceful conversation? So if this is something that floats your boat, you have tuned into the right show. Today I'm going to talk to you about the upcoming fixture between India and Pakistan in the ongoing Asia Cup in Dubai, and from a couple of lenses, one from a sports person's lens, one from a commercial angle, one from a geopolitical angle, and of course one from a future roadmap standpoint. I think there are a few questions which we all need to address and try and see if you can find some answers, see if you can resonate with some of these comments and queries, and do feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the section below. Ideas to not be dramatic or radical, and see if you can just have common, mature, non-rhetorical conversation. I was trying to search for the right word. Anyways, let's jump right in, right? What are the questions I'm grappling with? What are the questions I'm thinking? Like, as a cricket fan, as a deep cricket lover, am I excited? Am I disappointed? Am I worried? Am I feeling nervous? And those are one set of questions. As a patriot, as an Indian national, I'm worried about, I'm concerned about how quickly things turn around, given the bloody past that we have had, and the conflict, and not just this immediate conflict, but so many other conflicts over the years. And time and again, we have continued playing, almost like giving the impression that, oh, you are fighting at the border, we are someone different. You will hear this commentary on television a lot, that don't mix politics and sport. And I was like, how is that possible? Mr. Mohsin Naqvi is the interior minister, if I'm not mistaken, right? If I remember correctly, of Pakistan. So he is from the government, right? And so if India has some government intervention, then it's no different. So you can't delineate these two bodies in the sport. So how are you supposed to feel? Of course, and then there are the people defending the borders who have lost lives, who have sacrificed their happiness, if nothing else, their loved ones, and continue to do so year after year. And once in a while, everybody pays a salute and a tribute, and gets on with their lives. They have Mondays to go and traffic to face, and restaurants to eat food, and it's almost like multi-universe. It's like parallel lives just leading, as if one is not connected with the other, but we are all connected under the ambit of one country. So one cannot separate in this case the wheat from the chaff, as it were. And so how do you feel then? And how would, imagine if you are one of those family members watching all the drama that is going on television about the upcoming match, and you see the ad rates skyrocketing, the commercial angle is immense, it runs into billions of dollars, and so on and so forth. And you're like, is that what it is? That everything is about money? And then, of course, from a future roadmap standpoint, you wonder, well, you do this once, and then how else? Well, what precedence do you set? Do you continue to do this? Do you continue to make this odd situation where you only play multilateral tournaments, and just because forfeiting those matches will or can cost you the title, given the fact that at least in cricket, where you have a realistic shot at in most multilateral tournament, you clearly will reach the semis, for more often than not. But you have a realistic shot at getting to the final and then eventually winning the final. And so many complex questions, and there is no single answer. So let's go dive deep into one question at a time. First up, what I think about is, from a cricket fan standpoint, it is very disappointing that two nations just meet once in a while, and which arguably, at least in the past, have been very noteworthy matches, as in good contest. It just usually spirals down into negativity and abusive rhetoricals on televisions, and dikha denge, hum kar denge, and it's like a war and all those kind of things. And then the boring prepared remarks. No, this is just a game, and we are taking it as, it's almost like you can memorize the entire pitch and recite it out. It's just the same. Or we are just taking it as just another game. We are here to win the tournament, and we are not really worried about it. On a given day, anybody can win, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying. And if you're a cricket lover, you will be very familiar with this vocabulary of phrases. Of course, the counter question is, what else do you say? No, this is crazy. If we lose, we won't be able to, show any face at home. Is that what you will say? So you won't. So one understands why the clinical commentary or the prepared remarks are given, but it kind of defeats the whole point in live sport. There is drama, there is theatrics, there is cinema, and that's the joy of the sport. And as the recently concluded Test series in England, as people's, if you ever wanted to see drama, theatrics, heartache, pain, and the joy of victory, all packed into one blockbuster series, well, that was there to see. And so in T20, it's hard and fast and quick, and but yes, the intensity can happen. But what happens is when two nations meet once in a while, and then just the noise takes over the content. You hear just commentators going, the YouTubers going ballistic on either side of the border. Then there are reactions, counter reactions. He said so, she said so, he did that. And there's so many patterns. So if you watch Pakistan YouTube, they will say, they will build it up like it's like David versus Goliath story, right? That look how strong they are on paper, because they're all about money, of course, as if it's wrong on basis. Yeah, it's hard to make money, and the system is good, and the players are very good, and they will build it up. And what happens is, in that build up, they're psyching up, they're riling up the people in general. And so what happens is the people get into this zone, if you will. It's almost like mob manipulation. That might be a strong word, I take it back. Almost like getting into a mass momentum. I think that would be slightly more palatable. Mass momentum, where you are making the large audience remove their critical thinking and just making them feel that this is war. Yes, we are going to beat someone bigger and badder than us, and therefore the exhilaration of victory will be that much more. Whereas instead of that, the boring bit would be that no, it's just a sport, and if on that day, if India plays well, they clearly stand a chance to win. If Pakistan play well, they stand a chance to win. The bigger goal is, of course, to win the tournament. But that rarely or never is the case. And because truth is often boring and very simple, almost sans any drama, it has no takers, it has no buyers. And in a country where emotion rides higher than logic, clearly this catches wildfire. It catches on like wildfire. And so that's the dynamics of it. And so it magnifies because you don't play as often. So Do I feel we should play more often? Yes, we should play more often. We should play everywhere, including in Pakistan and in India, so that first the animosity level goes down, the normalcy creeps in, the familiarity grows. That once players get to know each other, they understand the culture aspects as well. There is mutual respect as well, and then the crowd also settles down, where this huge highs and lows go down, and somewhere it tapers off. I wouldn't say tapers off, it balances itself better. Like there are many instances where even when Pakistan won in Chennai, the audience stood up and clapped. When India won in Pakistan, they did the same. And so that was a good testimony of sport winning hearts. I wish that's one narrative. But sadly, one cannot delineate the other narrative, right? While people are playing, there are people who are dying. So how do you then, forget justifying, how do you even tell yourself that it's your country people who have lost lives, who've sacrificed health, wealth, happiness, family ties, birth of their child, taking care of their elders, and all the drama, everything. They've just left it behind so that no infiltrators get through, and our borders are protected and secured. And so it's almost being unfair to them. Like, why would you not leave your television and just go to the border and stand? Like, there'll be a lot of people who will say, yeah, let's do it. And some might even turn up there. But it's not like a one-day thing. You do that for months together, years together, and that's when your resolve get tested. You will get tested that how much do you love your country? I mean, this is not about money. It's about how much do you love your country. And it's very difficult to argue beyond that, isn't it? And that is the dichotomy, the dilemma that people are, at least let's not generalize, I am facing. I'm very proud of my country. I'm very proud of the armed forces. I'm very proud of the way they defend the borders, the way they conduct themselves. I'm very, very proud of that. But I'm also a cricket fan, and I miss playing the sport. I miss seeing solid, good encounters. Now, strictly speaking, Pakistan cricket team or the men's cricket team is not what it's their previous generation used to be. And I say previous, and now it's almost 30 years now, or nearing 30 years. I think the last good set of players was around 95 to 99. I think there was a decline evident even then, because even then they were known as mercurial players, right? They were never consistently good for a long time. They did have the talent. More than the talent, the generation of the 80s and the 90s were street fighters. They had the touch of arrogance, a chip on their shoulders, and now even some of they've become expert commentators. You can see the bravado that, look, every time they want to praise India, they reference back to the 1992 World Cup and how they were very good, and the ODI World Cup wins are more, ODI scores are better than, win scores are better than India, and so on and so forth, right? And so it hurts their pride, that is quite evident, and they live in the past, that is also very evident. So the close encounters, and I know that's a wrong word, but contests, let's put it this way, close contests are few and far. The last one being in Melbourne, where the iconic Haris Rauf, Mr. Virat Kohli's brilliance showed through. But yeah, that's like pretty much one-sided. When they beat India in the Champions Trophy final, it was it was an upset shock, right? So while they celebrated then, they even celebrated now, heart of hearts, the true cricket fan knows that it was just a one-off flash in the pan and it's a fluke. But take I mean, give credit where it's due. No matter what the fluke, when you win a final, you win a final. There is what it is. But the statistics are very different for how India has progressed over the last 30 years, right? Tremendous consistency, reaching finals, winning a few, and playing good quality cricket. And so that brings us to tomorrow's match. And you're like, most likely it's going to be a one-sided match unless the pressures get to the players. And think of 65 cameras or 200 cameras looking at you, so many people watching you globally. Can you even play a natural sport, your natural game? Every scratch of your hair, to glare, to stare, to any words exchanged, do you shake hands? Everything is going to be scrutinized. Is that fair? A cunning broadcaster will say, yeah, that's exactly where I make my money. That's why the ad prices are skyrocketing. And so, what is the better bet? That you boycott everything and forfeit the match? Yeah, take a hard stance if that's what you do. And the current sentiment in the country also says the same. That will many people stand up and object that, oh my God, you should play? If the government took that firm stance that when once we say a total blackout, we mean a total blackout. And nothing has changed at their end either, right? It's not that Pakistan has come apologizing for Pahalgam, or they continue to do their rhetoricals and they continue to be in denial. They continue to deny that even it was an incident or event that which harbored from their shores and everything. So nothing has really changed. If nothing has changed, then why are we changing? Basis what? And so it becomes so difficult to, a lot of the people that I know are saying they're boycotting tomorrow's game and not going to watch it. Is that such a bad thing? Will I judge them badly for that? No. I mean, I respect your sentiment. And there are people who say, I will watch it because ultimately my country is playing. So I will support my country even if they are facing the enemy. So there is merit in that. And is there historical sporting precedence to that? America versus the erstwhile Soviet Union played chess, even in the height of Cold War. I think even in ice hockey, the movie Miracles was made at the height of those Cold War scenarios. And so sport continued. Sport continued during World War as well. I think the Berlin Olympics. And so there is precedence where despite countries being at odds, people dying, sport continued. So from that logic and angle, well, we should continue to play everywhere then, right? Why just multilateral tournaments? Why not bilaterals as well? But if you are a person whose own family member is at the border, you might have a very mixed emotion. People at the border might have a very mixed emotion, right? Those who are defending in sub-zero temperatures in the high mountains and everything, and they're like, brother, we are just we are in the middle of nowhere, standing all alone, while you are probably sitting with a beer and watching the match. Given the fact that it's not completely in the strictest form of entertainment lens that we are watching this. It's not like the joy. It's not like a movie entertainment. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, bada maza aaya movie dekh ke. Maybe that's not the sentiment, but it also is riling up 1.5 plus, I don't know how many, 200 million, so 1.7 billion people in some way or the other. If not all 1.7, certainly close to a billion people for sure. I'm sure there are 500, 600 million people who don't watch cricket or don't follow it as much. And so that's fair. And so it does rile people up and people will think about it and people do get upset about it and so on and so forth. I have zero idea why the camera is zooming in and zoom out. I don't know if it's the stage manager thing, but hey, bear with me. Focus on the content. Okay. And so that was from a sports person. I gave you from a geopolitical standpoint. Now, let's take the final bit on the future. Like, what happens now? So you do this, then if you play again, there is another scope of another match. And then if for some quirk of reason, both teams get to the final, then you play again. So 3 times in a space of 15 days. Is that good? Again, and then what happens? You played 3 times. What stops you from playing another 5 times? So this can continue, and then if another attack happens or some unfortunate event happens, then what do you do? Then you still continue the same way, or then you then take a stance and saying no, we shouldn't. And what I also don't like the commentary sometimes, that it's the government's decision. No, it's the people's decision, and the government is our representative. So do not delineate the government's decision. We have to, in fact, back the government's decision, either side of the border, right? And so I couldn't care much about what the other side says, but I definitely care what my government is saying. And if they say that we shouldn't play, then we shouldn't play, and it's our decision. We own up to it and we back our people. There's nothing wrong with that, isn't it? And so it puts everybody in a jeopardy. It puts everybody in a confused state, and it kind of almost takes all the excitement out of the sport, and you watch the sport for completely wrong reasons, and that's what I'm pretty much against. So I know you might be thinking, see, in the end, would you still go ahead and watch it? My answer would be yes. I'd be hypocritical in saying that I will not watch it. I'll watch tomorrow's match. And yes, people could say, or the broadcaster point of view will say, that's exactly what I wanted. Whether you watch it with a glass of beer, or whether you are watching it with all anger and sentiments, or whether you are just doing time pass, keeping the volume on mute and watching the match in the last 10 overs, I don't care. I got my ad revenue. And one will have to live with that truth. That is the day and age that we are doing. Because if we really wanted to truly isolate someone, or not interact, or not engage in this day and age of digital communication, and which transcends boundaries and borders and everything, is it even possible? As in, practically, is it even possible? Like, now that most Pakistani channels are inaccessible in India, many people are watching it through VPNs. So you can't really stop. If people give up on their own, that is great. If that happens, if there's this collective consciousness that the entire country boycotts, that no, we will not watch the match tomorrow as a mark of solidarity, that'd be like a goosebump moment, like the country comes together. But as we all know that, and not to be judgmental about anybody, we are a diverse country with diverse socioeconomic stratas, diverse intellectual levels. Not everybody shares the same level of understanding, emotions, and everything. So you can't probably, it's like the analogy, and a lot of Mr. Shah Rukh Khan fans might not like this. Like, I've never actually sat through the entire Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge in one go. Like, I probably saw it the one time, half till interval or something, then I couldn't take it anymore. Because my preference of cinema was little different. Nothing to do with Mr. Shah Rukh Khan or Kajol or Karan Johar or anybody. But my preference was not that kind of cinema. So I did not much appreciate it from a cinematic standpoint. The songs were beautiful. It appealed to a large section of audiences. Continues to do so even now. But that kind of cinema didn't appeal to me. And so I don't dislike anybody who swears by it. Like, in our generation, we loved Sholay as a de facto. In fact, we would look away when somebody said, "Oh my God, you have not seen Sholay? Like, which rock were you living under?" But many in this generation, many today, have not seen Sholay, do not understand the relevance of it, do not understand the cultural impact of it. And I completely understand that, okay, we can coexist together. With the same analogy, there will be people who will get extremely hurt where this event is happening, this match is happening. Some will take offense to it, and some will be ignorant about it, and some will just watch it. So this is the mix that we have to continue to live in. It is very unfortunate that this cross-border terrorism or infiltration, this constant, people just don't, words escape me. What I'm trying to say is, it's been so long that people have not moved on. There are instances where countries have had world wars, like World War II. Everybody in Europe was fighting the Nazis, and now they're driving each other's cars. Borders are open, and the society has matured and civilized. It's not that they are so much more educated and advanced that we are completely ignorant and illiterate. It's not like that. And so I've always wondered, why is it that we have not been able to move on while very similar, may not be similar, even worse situations during World War II or post World War II, people have moved on. It's something that we should really ask ourselves, why have we, as both nations, not come together and said, what is done, let's keep it status quo and then make peace with status quo. Clearly, that's only solution. It's unlikely that India is going to concede its territory, is going to always want the balance that we consider as ours, and whatever that I see and hear as a regular citizen, Pakistan is probably, whatever publicly available information is, they aren't changing their minds anytime soon. So that is why this problem has not gone away, that even the alternative solution, which is stay as is, where is not also agreed upon. So it's only binary, one way or the other. And if that continues, and that's why it's continued for almost close to 80 years. And so is it worth continuing another 80 with the same predicament? I could say worldwide there are so many other conflicts, without going into too many details, that yeah, they have continued for 100 years, so why can't we? So if they, my always thing is, commerce should unite the world, peace should unite the world, that is what is sustainable. This kind of thing is not sustainable. And so at some point there will be a tipping point where the general mass consensus will emerge where it doesn't make sense to do. And given the fact that we are more emotional people, it might take a longer time, but it will come about, whether it is today, tomorrow, day after, or it takes another 50 years, there will come a time. So one lives in hope that we don't do anything stupid. We live as, you don't need to necessarily love each other. You just need to peacefully coexist each other. And if you don't need to open borders, at least don't fight on it. Right? If you don't want to increase people to people interactions, then at least don't have any hatred or any animosity. And frankly, India is on its way up. The priorities are very different, right? And so you manage your lives, careers, whatever way that you want, and let us be. And I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, India has any expansionist philosophy or idea or plans. It never had, never has. So it's very unlikely that tomorrow suddenly this, in fact, I can safely say that the large part of India doesn't feel that way as well. The feet on street, as it were, when we meet with the regular folk on everyday lives, I think everybody is busy figuring out where their next installment money is going to come from. There's work to do, there's jobs to be done, there is business to be conducted, and so the life is on the move. And it's almost like I said, there are multiple truths happening together parallelly. And so we get to move on, focus on science and technology and what have you. And so I see larger focus on that, despite all. If you open the news channels, of course, you will see everything is in red and the world will end tomorrow and so on and so forth. It's not how it is on the street, and so I hope we reset all these animosities at some point, learn to move on. I'm not saying forget and forgive, but learn to move on. It's like hit the pause, and say, okay, now let's reset the counter to zero, and then let's start building from here. And even if it takes another 100 years, so be it. Let us not then go back and keep pulling those issues from the past. But hey, there are bigger things that, I have always maintained as ordinary people, what we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. And so people, those who know, they might be thinking, there's too naive a thought. And sometimes I believe in the Occam's razor principle that, and paraphrasing, of course, that the solution to one of the most complex problems is often the simplest one. So that's where I leave it. Let me know your thoughts, views, comments, and whether you're going to watch the match tomorrow without, or will you be able to keep your national sentiments aside and watch it just as a sport? Will you be able to do that, or will you not be able to do that? If you want to reach me on Twitter, on platform X, I'm on Ionisms, or if you want to leave me a message here, let me know. I'm happy to hear your thoughts. Till we meet the next time, stay well, stay safe, insulate yourself from all the noise and rhetoricals and jingoism, and see if you can spread the word with people who need to hear this. So as they say, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. My name is Ian, and you are watching Ionisms. Peace out.